INTJ versus INTP core differences. The INTP personality type might seem similar to INTJ personality for many reasons. This is mostly because INTP consists of the introverted intuitive thinking and prospecting traits, while the INTJ personality has the introverted intuitive thinking and judging traits. Both commonly known as emotionless robots or logical masterminds with no clue on how to navigate the social sphere or figure out a romantic encounters. The INTJs and INTP in Myers-Briggs topology are among one of the most difficult pairs to pick apart. Since they're both intuitive thinkers, it's quite common to mistype as the other. Although these two personalities have similar traits, the INTP cognitive functions are quite different from INTJ cognitive functions. Based on the first impression, it can be extremely difficult to differentiate between an INTJ and INTP. They can appear identical on the outside, mysterious, and not easily swayed by authority. Both types are extremely intelligent and would make an ideal addition to any trivial or game show team. Whenever there are similarities, INTJs and INTPs also differ in some important ways. Oftentimes, these differences are subtle and we need careful analysis to understand their origin. Distinguishing INTJs from INTPs is typically not that difficult, since INTJs extroverts their thinking, and outsider quickly encounters their rational nature. INTJs are usually articulate, measured, and direct in their speech. The INTP extroverts intuition and feeling. Assuming they're not overly awkward or anxious, INTPs may at least initially remain relatively undistinguished from other types. Because their extroverted judging function is inferior, INTPs are usually less comfortable challenging others' conclusion in a direct and aggressive manner. They're more selective when it comes to asserting their own views or displaying the rational side of their personality. They prefer to pose questions or explore possibilities rather than make firm conclusions. INTJs are natural problem solvers. This is one way they differ from INTPs, while INTPs can generate a number of potential ways for addressing a problem. They are slower to draw hard conclusions regarding what should be done. To the INTP's eyes, there are simply too many variables, too many unknowns, too many contextual complexities to know much of anything with certainty. INTJs may struggle to find their niche in the world because of their strong idealism and perfectionism. INTJs don't just want to solve any problem, but the biggest and most impactful one. This is not necessarily a bad thing. If there is a personality type that can efficiently grasp the big picture and zero in on its most pressing issues, it's probably the INTJ. INTP's thought processes tend to be very open-ended. INTJ's thought processes tend to be only as open-ended as necessary for the purpose of reaching a conclusion. Once INTJs have arrived at their key insights and points, the next step involves employing them to effect change. INTJs may function as advocates, activists, or reformers. Since INTP's dominant judging function, introverted thinking, is directed inwardly, they tend to be more interested in understanding and improving themselves than changing the world. Like many INFPs, the self, its structure, nature, health, and identity is the consistent source of interest and preference for INTPs. INTPs are more sympathetic to the notion that individuals can discover truth and wisdom through their own logic and experience. They are thus well described as philosophers. INTJs, in being more structured and data-oriented in their approach, typically fall closer to the scientific end of the spectrum than INTPs. Focused versus curious mind. If you're wondering, Am I INTP or INTJ? The best way to find out is by observing how your mind operates. If you're often curious, then you must be INTP. On the other hand, having a focused mind makes you more of INTJ. This happens because of INTP versus INTJ thinking cognitive functions. An INTP dominant function is introverted thinking, which means they prefer making decisions internally and without external factors. Therefore, these individuals tend to think more on many subjects and try to find the best answer to a question. On the other hand, an INTJ function is extroverted thinking, which is focused on facts, workable strategies, and things happening in real time to make judgments. These factors tend to make INTJ more precise in their decisions. Indifferent versus sensitive. Due to self-assured nature of INTJs, they hardly care what other people think about them. Even if a person agrees with their strategies, they're more concerned about the results. Therefore, prices without proof or condemnation without evidence often don't affect them. INTPs, on the other hand, are more sensitive to other people's criticism, especially when it challenges their thought processes. They have extroverted feeling as one of their core functions, and they unconsciously seek approval for internal theories they come up with. Assertive versus overthinking. Another major INTJ versus INTP comparison is how these individuals feel about influencing other people's decisions. If you're wondering whether you're INTJ or INTP, you should assess how confident you are in advising others. INTJs are confident about the decisions they make, merely because of the effort they put into research. Therefore, they're assertive about influencing other people's choices. Focus versus life-spanning interests. This can be seen through music taste, as the INTJs will generally gravitate to one or two set genres. They also prefer listening to full albums and are often loyal fans of a selected few artists. This is consistent with their books, movies, and shows. This makes them intensively knowledgeable specialists who are truly experts in their field. The INTP, on the other hand, will have a collection of just about everything. It's common to find a lot of unknown artists or subgenres. Problem-solving skills versus apprehension. Another INTP versus INTJ difference is how these individuals deal with complex situations. If you want the answer to the question, am I INTP or INTJ? Pay attention to how your mind functions during tough moments. Are you more concerned about understanding a problem or trying to solve it right away? INTP people tend to have deep insight into matters. They would rather understand complex situations before diving into solving the problem. Although INTPs have higher cognitive process, they can become paralyzed in their thought process to the extent they fail to take action. Active change versus passive rebellion. If there is a problem, the INTJ will get down to business and fix it. Evaluate the options and settle on a decision. No mess, goal-oriented and achievement-driven, INTJs work hard to meet their high standards. The INTP, however, will expand the problem until they walk back to where they began and brainstorm ways to solve it. They're also notorious for being quite rebels of the system and will find their own way to solve the problem. Thank you for watching. We hope you like this video. We would really appreciate if you subscribe so we can continue sharing similar content.